Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Ordinary Council meeting for tonight, the 17th of November 2025. I'd like to open up tonight's meeting at 7 p.m. and on behalf of the traditional owners, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land in which we meet this evening and pay my respects to elders past and present. May I please have you stand, remove any hats if you do have them, for tonight's opening prayer to be conducted by Major Shirley Spooner of the Salvation Army.
Thank you. Let us pray. O God, we come before you with gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who is with us now in this very room. We thank you for making each one of us in this room, every person we meet, every citizen of this city, in your image, with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you for the calling you have given every one of us to be good stewards of your creation and to love our neighbours as ourselves. I thank you tonight, God, for these your servants, our Mayor, our Deputy Mayor, our councillors and our city staff. I give thanks for the way of service they've chosen to take up on behalf of us all. I pray that we would have the eyes to see how our lives are all connected and how our common good is upheld when we listen and respond to those most vulnerable among us. I pray for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all. May we put the interests of others above our own. May we act with love for the common good. May we be good neighbours, recognising your image in every person here. We thank you again for this council and for all those who make this city a better place. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Major. Thank you. Thank you, folks. And thank you again to Major Shirley Spooner of the Salvation Army. I'll read the disclaimer this evening. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on the Council's website in accordance with the City's public participation in Council meeting policy, which can be viewed on Council's website. All reasonable care is taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the public gallery, it is assumed your consent is given if your image is broadcast. The recommendations contained in this agenda are officers' recommendations only and should not be acted upon until Council has resolved to adopt those recommendations. The resolutions of Council should be confirmed by perusing the minutes of the Council meeting at which these recommendations were considered. Members of the public should also note that they act at their own risk if they enact any resolution prior to receiving official written notification of Council's decision. In attendance tonight, we have the Deputy Mayor. Good evening to you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Della, hello. Hello, Councillor Johnson. Greetings, Councillor O'Donnell. Hello, Councillor Viskovich. Evening, Councillor House. Evening, Councillor Walker-Dunstan. And hello, Mr CEO. Also joining us tonight, our members of staff alongside our CEO, Andrew Bryan, Francis Liston, our Director of Governance and Organisational Strategy. Hello, Francis. Thank you last week for acting in the CEO role, just to clarify. Mia Hicks, our Director of Advocacy and Strategy. Hello, Mia. Gian Rumbold, our Director of Finance, People and Culture. Good evening to you. We've matched on ties tonight. Adam Streeline is the Director of City and Community. Hello, Adam. How are you? Cass Yeager is the Director of Corporate and Commercial. Hello, Cass. And Louis Camporelli is our Director of Engineering here this evening as well. Thanks for joining us, Louis. Alongside that, we're joined by our Coordinator of Governance in Susie Beamish, Gemma, who's with our Governance team and IT support as well. We'll also make a mention of Kobe, who's our Marketing Manager, who's with us tonight as well. And we have one member of the press and 3 members of the public in attendance. There are no apologies from elected members and there are no apologies from staff, but we do have a leave of absence for Councillor Bodica, who is not here this evening. It's not a holiday, it's a work conference, I believe, that Councillor Bodica is on. So that is noted tonight. Our vote will be out of 8 on items, unless, of course, there is a notation of interest. Item 5 on our agenda is a response to previous public questions taken on notice, and I'll note that there was a response at the last Ordinary Council meeting in regards to not providing an answer, so that has come forward tonight. And just to reiterate, for that particular process, we were asked at the 18th of August 2025 Ordinary Council meeting by Mr David Oates, a resident of Lamington, who asked the following question, which was taken on notice. Given that I am in possession of 2 responses relevant to the total costings of the proposed golf club resort, first response dated 18th of December 2023, amount $4,574,493.49, and response dated 21st of December 2023, amount $3,780,365.35. Why is there such a huge variance of the costings amounting to $794,128? And the response to that, provided into our minutes, the figure provided in December 2023 for costs associated with the golf course resort was $4,574,439.49 and was intended to only relate to construction costs. The information provided inadvertently included all costs associated with the golf course asset, such as construction expenses, legal and contract management costs, and the re-evaluation of the property. The figure provided in June 2025, which was $3,780,365, reflected construction's costs only. At our last Ordinary Council meeting, we had 3 questions from Mr Michael McKay, a resident of Boulder, who asked the following questions, which were all taken on notice. Now, I'll just repeat the questions just for the record and also provide responses. Question 1, on behalf of Mrs Kylie Owens of 3/248 Hannon Street, she would like to ask the CEO, Mr Andrew Bryan, can he fulfil his pledge of more than 2 years ago of an ex gratia payment for the vandalised windows of her shop that were broken due to unsecured pavers during the construction of St Barbara Square? The last time he was asked about the payment, his reply was, I thought it had been paid and would follow it up. To this date, still no payment. When will it be paid? The response to that is the City is not in a position to provide a response to you directly in relation to a query from a third party, and invite Mrs Owens to contact the City directly. Question 2, in relation to the new toilets in Markets Arcade, given that St Barbara Square was established to encourage family and community to enjoy, can the toilets be opened all day Saturday and Sunday? If not, can an automatic toilet be installed, which was in the initial planning to go behind the old inner city cafe wall? The response, there is no plan contained within the 10-year forward plan for a further 24-hour toilet block to be located within the Kalgoorlie City Centre. There is currently 2 24-hour toilet blocks, one within 200 metres and one at 550 metres away. The opening hours will be extended should the number of users of the toilet block and the time of use show substantial increases. Currently, all uses and times of use are being tracked to provide data to govern opening hours going forward. And question 3, regarding the CCTV transmitter pole that was damaged in the roundabout in Burt Street, will Council investigate reinstating the new pole in a more suitable location so as to prevent this happening again? And the response, the current location at the Burt Street roundabout was selected as it provides the best line of sight to all CCTV infrastructure within the surrounding area and maintains a direct wireless link back to the police communications tower. This positioning ensures optimal coverage, connectivity and network performance across the area. Although this type of incident is rare and the asset has remained in place since its initial installation without any previous issues, we are implementing measures to minimise the risk of prolonged downtime in the future. We are assessing options to establish redundancy measures such as alternative communication paths or backup links to ensure service continuity and minimise downtime. They are the responses to that have been provided. Item 6, public access and public question time. We don't have any of those fulfilled this evening. We don't have any petitions, deputations or presentations. Councillors, are there any notations of interest you wish to record tonight? Councillors, no impartialities? No financials? We have one financial recorded from the CEO in regards to item 14.15, and that is the CEO's performance review update. That is a financial interest in that particular item. No further financials this evening, councillors, and no proximities that have been recorded. Thank you, councillors, and just noting the one financial interest for tonight. Are there any leave of absence, councillors? No. Thank you. 9.2 is a procedural motion to suspend section 9.1 of the Standing Orders Local Law of 2013. That council suspend 9.1 of that standing order, which requires us to rise to speak. We be suspended. Is there a mover for that? My apologies, very dry. Councillor Viskovich, thank you, moving that. Seconded by Councillor Della. Is there any opposition, councillors? No, that is carried 8-0. Item 10, announcements by the person presiding without discussion. They'll be on your screen, also sent to you as well. Council is highlighting just some of the advocacy that we've been doing across the course of the last month. It's been quite extensive, from ARC Infrastructure locally meeting with the new CEO, through to the Australian Mining Cities Alliance delegation in Canberra. And what I will say is probably our most important delegation that we've had and most fruitful delegation that we've had in Canberra in my time as mayor, and probably in recent history as well. Meeting with the Honourable David Littleproud, Michelle Landry MP. We met with the office of the Honourable Madeleine King MP, who was away at the time, I believe was in the States, alongside the Prime Minister. Alongside that, we also met with the office of the Senator, the Honourable Murray Watt, in relation to our water bank discussions to receive some further information in regards to how we can progress that as quickly as possible. It's something that we're very mindful of here in the city, noting that we have had that particular application in for nearly 3 years, and we want some action. We met with the Director of Policy through the Director of Policy Office through the Honourable Claire O'Neill, Dan Repiccioli MP, Senator Anthony Chisholm, which we met separately with the city alongside the AMCA delegation. We met Rick Wilson MP and also Brooke Curtin, who works for Angie Bell as the Shadow Minister for Environment and Youth, alongside an advisor to the Minister for Regional Development in Minister Christy McBain. We also took the opportunity to mention to Katie Gerlich, who's the Senior Advisor to the Honourable Mark Butler, Minister for Health and Ageing and Minister for Disability and NDIS, a little bit more about our antisocial behaviour on transitional Aboriginal homelessness study project, but also to reiterate some of the motions that we've put forward at ALGA in the past, and also through WALGA as well. So we updated the office there. We continued our stakeholder engagement, continued with an event, and thank those councillors who participated in the Paddy Hannon Memorial to commemorate 100 years since his death. We had a great tour of the Full Circle Therapies project, attended the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Community Safety Forum, and later met with Minister Whitby, who took on board some of our ideas from that particular safety forum moving forward, such as the opportunity to further progress support for retailers, and some of the crimes that are committed against retailers that we're aware of, and also to strengthen our Safer Streets Patrol as well in terms of the powers that they do have, and potentially look at that in the future. I also attended What's Down the Track on Thursday last week, and I thank the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Chamber of Commerce and Industry for that event. A great test, a great checkpoint for our city and for our region to understand a little bit further about what's happening, and we gave a presentation on where our city projects are at. Plus there were some other media interviews that were conducted during the month. Councillors, item 11 is our confirmation of minutes. We have 2 lots of minutes to confirm this evening. The first one is from the special council meeting that was on the 20th of October 2025, that be confirmed as a true record of that meeting. We have a mover to accept those minutes. Thank you, Councillor House. Seconder. What is your point of order, Councillor House? First of all, I won't take it that he's the mover. Thank you. Can you just adjust your microphone, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just have a point of order regarding the minutes, and specifically in relation to the item 17.2.1, which is the townsite boundary report.
Thank you. I won't consider your point of order. It does not relate to that particular minutes. The minutes that we're considering is the 20th of October 2025, which was the special council meeting and the swearing in of councillors and the Deputy Mayor as well. Next item, I'll note that for the next item. Thank you. Is there a mover of that? Thank you, Councillor Della. Seconder, Councillor Viskovich. No discussion or any discussion on the minutes? No? No dissent on those minutes? Carried 8-0. The next procedural motion is to look at the minutes of the October 27, 2025 meeting, and Councillor House, you wish to mention a confidential item being item 17. The confidential item obviously has become a public item as far as I was aware. What is your question, first of all, please? As it's not a point of order, it's more of a question.
That's right, Mr. Mayor. I'm not quite sure what procedural terms it would come under. Do you want me to explain what it is so that you can kind of filter it, or?
What's your question, first of all?
Look, the question's regarding the procedure that we were used to determine the item as being a late agenda item.
Sure, the item was not a late agenda item. It was received by councillors by 5 p.m. on the Friday before the meeting, or 7 p.m. before the meeting was considered on the Monday evening. So therefore it is not a late item. It does say it was a late item in regards to when the agenda was originally published for councillors. However, it's not a technical late item, as it still managed to suit the Local Government Act requirement of being on the agenda 72 hours prior and councillors receiving the 72 hours knowledge.
Well, it's at that point that I'd like to, I guess, clarify, is that 72 hours, and really understanding from a procedural point of view, how is council notified that agenda item has been added to the agenda? Is there an expectation that councillors must monitor the website, for example? Or my point here, Mr. Mayor, is my notification for this late agenda item came about on Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. And that was the only email correspondence that I had received in relation to a late agenda item being placed to the agenda.
Thank you, Councillor House. I get your point. Let me just refer to my emails. My apologies, we seem to be searching for the email that I'm after, so we'll take a couple of moments. That's okay, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Do any other councillors have the record of the Docs on Tap email notification from Friday, the October 24?
If I can make a suggestion, Mr. Mayor?
Not yet, thank you, Councillor House. Sorry, Deb, Councillor Diller, just the microphone, just.
Sorry, mine is recorded in my emails that the confidential late item hit my inbox on the 24th of October.
That being the Friday.
I can go to my calendar next.
My apologies.
Correct.
And what time, sorry?
Now you're stretching the friendship.
Sorry.
3:13 p.m.
Thank you. So that there was notification to councillors, Councillor House, that there would be a late item. There is an expectation that councillors do check their emails on a daily basis. I get that the time between 3:13 p.m. on a Friday afternoon to 6 a.m. on a Saturday is quite a long time. What's your suggestion, Councillor House?
Or potentially aware that a late item may come up of such strategic significance. My obligation was to check my emails to have an automatic notification sent to my email to tell me that a late agenda item has been added. But for me, particularly given that I'm a new councillor, and I won't speak on behalf of Councillor Vanessa, but I'm sure she would be feeling in a similar boat, that the information that we had no prior knowledge of this matter being discussed by council. It was a very
Thank you, Councillor House.
matter.
It's not a debate now. I get what the point is that you're making. However, you did vote on that matter and your vote has been recorded. Thank you.
That is true.
Thank you.
True.
Thank you, Councillor House.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there anything else that Council would like to mention on the minutes? Do we have a mover for the minutes? Thank you, Councillor Della. Seconder, Councillor Johnson. Further discussion? Any dissent? Carried 8-0. Councillors, we have a motion of which previous notice has been given. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion is that that the CEO reports back to council at the December ordinary council meeting on any options which the city can consider to improve safety and access for pedestrians when crossing Graham Street to access the Hennons Boulevard shopping complex.
Seconder for the Deputy Mayor's motion. Councillor Johnson. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the new developments within the area and following a number of reach-outs from concerned residents, in particular Mr. Steve Glenn, I'm seeking council support on this motion to allow us to consider all options around improving community safety and access. While I acknowledge I have several questions later on in the meeting relating to this matter and responsibilities, given just how dangerous this stretch of road is, particularly for children, seniors and people facing mobility difficulties, I think it is absolutely critical we are ensuring that we are doing all we can to minimise any risks of fatalities. Having visited the site on several occasions now and watching how people are having to cross this very busy street, I am concerned, and it's terrifying. I'm appreciative of the works being done in this space at the moment, but I don't believe we as a council should be settling for whatever the expected standard is. We need to be proactive and drive the standards we wish to see. Under this motion, I would also ask that the CEO reports back on any improvements that can be made to improve accessibility to this site, to be completed in partnership with the business owner, as I've noticed that the access for anyone using a mobility device, such as a gopher or wheelchair, must do so by entering off the footpath into oncoming traffic, which also has visual obstructions. I feel we as a council must continue to partner and work with our community, particularly our business community, to ensure the best and safest outcomes for all, and we have a wonderful opportunity to do so in this instance. I do not want to wait for there to be an accident before looking at items like this. I want to be confident that all safeguards have been considered and actioned to ensure our kids, our brothers, our sisters, our parents and our community return home safely when they leave their houses. I implore you all to please support this motion tonight.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any improvement in road safety must be considered a high priority, especially in that area, especially with the new developments that are going to be going on down there, and we're expanding that population in that area. I just support wholeheartedly the Deputy Mayor's intention here, and do encourage the CEO to take on board the notion of motion and bring it back to the table.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Speaker against? Speaker for? No speakers, councillors. Councillor Dell, you wish to speak in question? Go ahead, I'll consider.
Thank you. Is there works already being progressed at the site, and what are those current works that are currently being progressed?
Yes is the short answer, and I'll refer to the CEO as to what those answers are, because I won't get too technical as to what they are, because I'll get it wrong. Mr. CEO, thank you. Over to the Director, if you'd like to head to the lectern to probably provide a little bit more technicality as to what's been implemented already.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. A new median has been constructed in the space, some road marking, widening of both aprons and off-ramps, and we're meeting with the owners of Spud Shed on Wednesday, and one of the items for the discussion on Wednesday is how they get from our footpath onto their property as well.
Councillor Della, does that answer your question? Supplementary, yep.
So in respect to these works, part of what you're saying is it needs to also incorporate with the local business. I'm probably inclined to support the Deputy Mayor's motion. However, I feel that it's probably a city-wide issue that needs to be addressed at all of our local schools to improve. So I think it's a bigger piece than just the spud shed because that's opening in that location. I think we have far greater use by school children as well across the city. So would that be part of what you're doing in the engineering department as well?
Director?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Again, through yourself. We currently are. We're currently working with road buyers and Wagga to have them do an audit, a safety audit of all our roads and spaces to see what we need to do in the future. Just also with the engineering department, they had this on the radar designed in August. The hold up to this works was main roads and the approval coming through from main roads. So the answer to your question is, yes, we are looking at road safety. We're having Wagga doing that in conjunction with Wagga and roadwise, which we just become another member of.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Della. No debate, councillors. Just before we do close the debate, there won't be too much to reply to for the Deputy Mayor, but again, this is probably another access piece, not just for school children, but there is a seniors facility some 800 metres away as well. We've spent a lot of effort in the area improving the existing infrastructure, being footpaths, crossings and the like, and this is obviously the final implementation there to ensure seniors who are in the area can traverse themselves safely and at their own pace quite safely to where it is that they're going. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you, Councillor, for your comments around the table. Completely agree with the comments, particularly those put forward by Councillor Della. It's actually on one of my lists as another item to be brought up at another meeting in regards to school access and crossings throughout the city as well. So I think this is a first step and it's a good way to test the water in essence to really get a really good framework in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. There was no dissent for that particular item. Therefore, no dissent during debate, so therefore I'll carry that 8-0. There is no urgent business tonight approved by the person presiding or via decision. Councillors, we have an en bloc motion for this evening. I will raise what will be part of the en bloc and feel free to bring any of it out. 1411, Council Calendar 2026. Sorry, councillors, this is all part of the en bloc, so the numbers that I do refer to. 1421, Statement of Financial Activity, September 2025. 1422, Accounts Payable Report, October 2025. 1423, Quarterly Commercial Business Reports, Quarter 1, 2025. 1441, the award of tender RFT 26003, upgrade Wilson/McDonald Street roundabout. 1451, proposed permanent road closure right-of-way 3489785 between 158A and 160 Cheetham Street, Kalgoorlie. 1452, change of use, place of worship, D079/25, Lot 2, number 51, and Lot 3, number 53, Hannon Street, Kalgoorlie, 6430. 1453, change of use, D11725, family daycare, Lot 4116, number 39, Burkett Drive, Hannon, 6430. 1454, proposed permanent road closure right-of-way, ID number 3491460, between number 54 and number 58 Lyle Street in Lamington. 14.5.5, proposed extension to place of worship D113/25, lot 672, number 60 Wilson Street, Kalgoorlie. And 1456, quarterly reporting, Kalgoorlie-Boulder Youth Council Working Group. Councillors, are there any on there that you wish to pull out? Would you like me to repeat? Councillor House? Okay. I'll just repeat going through the numbers just again, just so we can keep up, because it is a large en bloc this evening. 14.1.1, council calendar. 14.2.1, statement of financial activity for September. 14.2.2, accounts payable report for October. 14.2.3, quarterly commercial business report. 14.4.1, award of tender for the upgrade of Wilson McDonald Street roundabout. 14.5.1, proposed permanent road closure between two properties on Cheetham Street, 158A and 160 Cheetham Street. 14.5.2, change of use for a place of worship at 5153 Hannon Street. 14.5.3, change of use for a family daycare at 39 Burkett Drive. 14.5.4, proposed permanent road closure right-of-way between 54 and 58 Lyle Street in Lamington. 14.5.5, proposed extension to place of worship D11325, that's at number 60 Wilson Street in Kalgoorlie. And 14.5.6, quarterly reporting for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Youth Council. Is there anything that councillors wish to pull out of that? No? Do we have a mover for the en bloc? Thank you, Councillor Della. Seconder for the en bloc? Councillor Johnson. No dissent to that? All of those items are carried 8-0. For those who are in the public gallery this evening, just to let you know, so you're not waiting until the end of the meeting, your item was 15.5.2, 15.5.5, and that was carried unanimously in support by council. So feel free to stay. You don't have to. Yes. That was 14.5.5. There's a lot of 4s and 5s in there tonight. Right. Councillors will refer back. So therefore, we've only got discussion on 4 items tonight, I believe, 5 items. 14.1.2 is the policy review. Councillors, there is an officer recommendation and an alternate recommendation there. Councillor House, you wish to move?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wish to move an alternate resolution, an alternate motion, please.
An alternate motion, thank you. Is there a seconder for... Sorry, let's hear what your alternate motion is first. We need to know what we're seconding.
I appreciate
my apologies.
Appreciate the faith. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The resolution to the effect relates to putting these items on the table for the next meeting. The reason I asked to do that is...
Stand by. Let's get that alternate recommendation just a little bit clearer. So, councillors, you'll be asked to consider this item. I'll just help you through your resolution here so we can get a proper seconder. Stand by.
Do you want me to explain it and then we kind of work through the wording?
No, I know exactly what you've just said it in your first piece. Is that the item be adjourned to the ordinary council meeting in December, which would be on the 15th of December. That's what your alternative recommendation is this evening. So, councillors, just to be clear, Councillor House, sorry to put words in your mouth, just trying to streamline it. Councillor House has moved an alternative recommendation that the matter be adjourned to the 15th of December ordinary council meeting. Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor O'Donnell. Councillor House, you can speak to your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Councillor O'Donnell. The reason I'd like to lay these items on the table largely comes down to technical matters and legal matters. So without going into extensive detail, I recommend that the items be laid on the table, the officers review some of those technicalities, and we bring them back to a future meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor House. As that is a procedural motion, Mr. CEO, that would just some advice. That's a procedural, so therefore the seconder does not get to add to the debate. Thank you. So, Councillor O'Donnell, you don't get to add. It's a procedural, and no other speakers can speak to that particular motion. So, councillors, we have that procedural from Councillor House here, seconded from Councillor O'Donnell. It was quite clear as to why he wants to move that to the next meeting. I will take a vote on the alternative recommendation. Those in favour of the alternative recommendation from Councillor House, please raise your hand. Those against? The vote is carried, and that will now be adjourned to the next meeting. We then have 14.1.3, which is intertwined with 14.1.2. Councillors. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to also call out a procedural motion on this one, much in line with the previous motion.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that procedural? Councillor Viskovich. Deputy Mayor, you wish to speak?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Given that the last item of council was not considered at this point in time, this current item of council cannot be considered alongside it until such time as the previous item is.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillors, we have a procedural motion that is there to include this one as well to be adjourned to the next ordinary council meeting. Those in favour, I'll take a vote. Those in favour of the procedural motion, please raise your hand. Carried unanimous, 8-0. Item 14.1.4 is the CEO delegations of authority. We have an officer recommendation. Councillors, is there a mover of the recommendation? Moved, Councillor Della. Seconder, Councillor O'Donnell. Councillor Della, you wish to speak? No, Councillor O'Donnell wish to speak. Are there any councillors that wish to speak? With there being no dissent, councillors, is there anyone wishing to vote against? Carried 8-0. Councillors, item 14.1.5 is the Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicators First Quarter Review 25-26, which the CEO has declared a financial interest in and will leave the room at 7:37 p.m. Councillors, please note after tonight's workshop that there is an amended recommendation. Can we have that change from officer recommendation to an amended recommendation, please? Thank you. Is there a mover for the amended recommendation? Moved, Councillor Viskovich. Seconded, Councillor Della. Councillor Viskovich, you wish to speak? Councillor Della, wish to speak? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With regard to 15.1.5, the CEO's review committee, I suppose the attendance has been consistently poor, clearly showing that on the public council records on our own website, we cannot properly oversee this committee if council are not turning up. So the practical and transparent solution is to dissolve the committee and return to a CEO performance oversight of full council so that councillors can be present, accountable and required to participate. And I urge my colleagues to take a seriousness to their role. Hiring the CEO would have to be one of the most crucial parts of our role, and ensuring that we hold him to account is also part of that. I'd also like to recognise the CEO's proactive leadership in this space and identifying that the Kalgoorlie boundary change was no longer a priority, and he's immediately changed focus to ensure that housing and land availability is priority across his KPIs. And finally, I'd also like to urge the community to take an active interest, because in these attendance records when going to the polls to vote. So it is part of our role as elected members to stand and put aside and make time for these meetings. So I would actually urge not only councillors to ensure that they can attend, it is actually our civic obligation to do so, to be accountable and represent the constituents of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. And for this reason, dissolving the committee is the only right way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Della. Speaker against? Speaker for? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to echo the sentiments put forward from Councillor Della as well. I think it's important to note that the Performance Review Committee previously for the city, prior to the last honouring committee of council, consisted of 3 councillors. This process that we've proposed moving forward ensures that all councillors around the table have the opportunity to provide input as well. I think by council being able to discuss in a public forum through an OCM the CEO's performance assessment, while at this point we are noting, ensures that there's ongoing transparency through for the community, and they're also involved in that process. I'd like to acknowledge the achievements that's been done up to date through the CEO through his notes as well, and I look forward to the amended recommendation where the CEO will address council further in January on in relation to performance against adopted KPIs as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor House, speaking for? Point of clarification. Go ahead, please. Turn your mic on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just the point that was raised regarding the Shire of Coolgardie. I just want to understand that particular point and how the council got to the point where it was requesting the CEO undertake a KPI that the organisation hadn't resolved on. I'm just curious how we've gotten to that point and why it was even considered as a KPI.
Excellent question. I'll bring that up during my debate. Is there a speaker against? Speaker for? I'll get to address that for you now because I'll speak. And just to reiterate that KPI as well, when council were first being told by the minister to consider a boundary adjustment, council and the committee at the particular point in time added to the potential and with foresight, if it was going to progress, that the CEO would be able to resource that and understand that process in detail. This was not a particular KPI that was linked to a position on council. It was a mechanism as per in line with the CEO's his contract adjustments at the time, that we were able to include this as a mechanism so council were able to give the CEO the resources should that have progressed. That has not progressed, so therefore that has been deleted from the KPIs at this particular point in time. Further to that, the CEO has added social and affordable housing, and to look at housing. It was a #1 topic for many people who were discussing housing at the What's Down the Track forum. Our city lacks housing. The current figures that we have, around 40 properties for sale. We have around 60 properties for lease. That is it. There's not a lot of movement in the property market. There's not a lot of opportunity for people at certain levels of the property chain to be able to invest in the city or to be able to construct in the city as well. The CEO has identified the development of a city-led project to investigate opportunities for residential land development. This shouldn't be up to the city to progress. It's a state government initiative which the state should be tracking. However, taking out one of those KPIs and adding this one in there will give the opportunity that we have here in the city for residential land development and also the application for appropriate funding to deliver that specifically for housing targeting for first home buyers, which is something that probably the market does not see at this particular point in time. Can I also appreciate that this review is quarterly? Under legislation, there's only required to be one review per year, so we are adding extra force or sight vision to what the CEO is delivering back to the community. There are several points in there which have been addressed. Council will continue to focus on reviewing budget process and performance moving forward, major projects reported, corporate business plan management, and also communications as key focus areas as well. So that will continue and that will be a focus for the CEO alongside what has been presented from that particular point. Councillor House, I know you've got a question. I feel I've answered that. I can't add anything more to you, so therefore there's probably no more questions that I can take on that. That's the position that the committee and therefore council has added. Clarification, go ahead, Councillor House.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You opened your address there. You made a statement that the minister told us or told the council what to do. Could you please elaborate on that?
The minister advised the city to consider a joint boundary submission with the Shire of Coolgardie. That's a process that we fulfilled to our best of ability without having anything added. Bear in mind that this particular KPI was designed in a point when we had no correspondence from the minister. At that particular point in time, we had not really much to work with. We hadn't even presented in its entirety to the minister what was required. It was a fail-safe by council to ensure that the CEO, should that have happened, we had no idea that it was going to happen, should that have happened, that the CEO was resourced. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a point of clarification as well. Was the KPI around the Shire of Coolgardie matter discussed and set through the CEO Performance Assessment Committee or whole of council?
It was discussed. Just had a drink of water. It was discussed by the committee and whoever attended that last committee meeting, and therefore became a recommendation to council from recollection. Thank you. With no further questions, the mover, Councillor Della, Councillor Viskovich, who did not speak. Sorry, Councillor Della did speak. Councillor Viskovich, you have a right of reply. And I think you were at that meeting too.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I was. I would like to thank my fellow councillors for their comments. I would like to clarify again, Mr. Mayor, that under the local government, the CEO is only legally required to have one formal performance review. However, our CEO has consistently supported the practice of quarterly KPI check-ins as an additional transparency measure to ensure council remains fully informed throughout the year. These quarterly reviews are not legislative requirements, but rather a proactive approach initiating and maintained by the CEO to help councillors monitor progress, raise concerns early and stay updated on organisational performance. I've repeated this as I believe it's really important that this context is confirmed and recognised. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Viskovich. We've got the end of debate, councillors, so there's no dissent being recorded. I'll still take a vote though. Those in favour of the amended recommendation, please raise your hand. Those against? Sorry, Councillor House, was that 4? Yeah, you're 4. Yes. Okay, thank you. So carried 8-0. May we have the CEO back, please? Noting the CEO's return at 7:48 p.m. Councillors, this could have been included in the en bloc. However, I've elected to keep this out due to the interest last week, and that is item 14.3 under corporate and commercial, 14.3.1, the seniors Christmas lunch, change of date and venue. We have an officer recommendation, councillors. Is there a mover of the recommendation? Councillor Johnson, seconded Deputy Mayor. Councillor Johnson, you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As our officers were asked to do so, they have gone out and communicated with the community through through our elderly in our city, and the result was overwhelming. That they were very comfortable with change of date and venue, and asked some pretty pertinent questions at the same time. And that's now come back to this table, and I urge everyone to support that because it is an absolutely amazing gathering of our elderly in our community, and they have an absolute ball.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm also extremely pleased that not only have the officers consulted with our seniors reference group and the response back has been extremely positive, but I'm very happy to support this change of location and more broadly continue to support this incredibly important and wonderful event to continue to be delivered for our community. The proposed changes by officers will allow for future growth within this event and ensure that activities, catering and the outlay of the event continues in a way that meets community expectations and desires. I look forward to once again being part of this incredible event moving forward, and I'm excited to see how it fits within its new location, hopefully home moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker against? Speaker for? Speaker against? Before the mover has the right of reply, I attended the seniors working group today, Councillor Johnson. My specific question to the group was, can I go back to council this evening and advise that you have unanimous support for this? To which their answer was yes. So I look forward to attending on the 4th of December should the vote get up this evening. Councillor Johnson, you have the right of reply.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. The 4th of December, clear it in your diaries. It is an absolute hoot to go to these senior ones, and when you go in there and you do rub shoulders with those who have the experience around our city, they have the jokes around the city, they tell you what it is and how it should be, and the best part about it is they have a ball, and I'd urge everyone around this table to get on board. And you do need an RSA.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson.
If you wish to serve them alcohol.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you.
With no dissent to that, councillors. Just about to cast the vote. Councillor House, you're late on your clarification. What is this?
I just want to know who's going to be Santa Claus this year.
Santa Claus will be Santa Claus at the seniors' Christmas party. Thank you. Councillors with no dissent. Carried 8-0. Which takes us to questions of which due notice has been given. I don't believe I've missed anything else from the agenda. Councillors, there's no indication to that. I know there was a large en bloc tonight. Thank you. Deputy Mayor, you have 3 questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I do note that some of these was answered a bit previously, but I will still push them through. The first one is, whose responsibility is it to ensure pedestrian safety when crossing Graham Street to access the Hennons Boulevard shopping complex? Number 2 is, what works have currently been completed to improve pedestrian safety when crossing Graham Street? And 3, what future works are currently earmarked for pedestrian safety when crossing Graham Street?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Mr CEO, are we answering those this evening, or will that be provided for us in writing? Thank you. We'll provide that to you in writing. May we have that as part of the minutes, Mr CEO? Yes, so when the minutes are circulated, the answers will be in the minutes. There are no confidential items tonight, councillors. Therefore, at 7:53 p.m, I will close tonight's meeting by thanking staff, thanking councillors. Thank you to members of the public who have joined us tonight, either in person or via online. And I look forward to welcoming you to the seniors' Christmas party on the 4th of December, as highlighted by Councillor Johnson. He's a very jolly fellow, Councillor Johnson. So